What's good, Dragon Ball fam? It's your boy Eddie St. Hilaire with one of the local players, my boy Julian Rodriguez. First off, his top 16 with a deck. All these deck profiles that are gonna go up, I'm doing them for the sole purpose that these are decks that are 100% viable in set 14. These are not any decks that are going to get affected by the ban list. And the thing about it, you got top cut with this deck, and people are playing full power mecha. They're playing full power rejects. They're building 5 still. They're playing full power Dark Broly, infinite combo power. And this guy managed to sit there and get his top cut with what deck, man? What leader?
The good old reliable Cell Surge.
One big thing I want to say about this, people thought it was a best of one deck. My boy Julian Rodriguez said, nah, it's not. But then, also shout out to the boy Frank Castle. Look at this man. Just in case you didn't see what he looks like. A lot of people were surprised that this was Frank Castle. I literally had to say, yo, that's Frank Castle with Vegeta St. Army. Then everyone started going crazy. Like, what? You're Frank Castle? Oh, you don't have a profile picture on, that's why.
Iced.
Yeah, you know,
with the crest.
Bling bling.
You gotta bling it. You gotta clean it with the crest. You hate to see it.
Real. That's real. All right, let's get to this egg profile, bro. Talk about this leader real quick. Talk about how do you feel people's I guess thoughts on whatever. It'll do its thing in best of 1, but not in best of 3. Like, talk about that ideology, I guess.
Well, I mean, that's like the hand control meta, right? Like people just say hand control belongs in best of 1, which honestly for the most part is actually true. But the reason I went with this leader over all the other hand control leaders is because he just feels the most solid as well as the most consistent, and he's like the easiest hand control leader to build the deck around and actually have options with the surge effects on the back because they're both super good.
Oh yeah.
So
let's get into the surge effects real quick. I know what they do. They know what it does in the front, but review the leader for the people who don't know. I know a lot of people don't watch the profiles for best of 1.
Yeah,
but
pretty
much.
You look at top 5.
Yeah.
Once per turn, activate main, do not attack. You just look at top 5, grab any card, and then discard a card from your hand. And it kind of seems like that's neg, but there's a card pretty much that exists that helps with that. And then on the back, obviously Surge Awaken when you have 4 or less life. He has 2 effects, both activate main, so you can't do it on your opponent's turn, but they're really good effects. One says you choose a card from your opponent's hand and then discard it, and then you also KO one of your opponent's creatures. And then the other effect says you can detach one, and then for the rest of the next turn and your turn, your opponent's creatures come in rested. So it's really good to stun decks like Dark Broly and problematic decks that usually, other hand control decks, they just wouldn't be able to answer.
Hey, blue.
Yeah, just any deck really. Like I use that effect pretty much in every single match today because you only want to discard when you're going for game really. So to start the deck, we have the Unison lineup. I shouldn't have to say much about this Unison. It's literally the best green Unison. I teetered between playing 3 or 4, but since I play 3 of the other Unison, which you're about to see, I figured 6 Unisons is probably enough. And you look at top 5, so you see it most games anyways. It's never really an issue. And then the boss monster of the deck.
Yeah, double strike, baby.
This guy
+2
is gas. Yeah. He hits the board, and 9 out of 10 times your opponent is not clearing him. He's sticking on the board unless they have Kai SCR, and he puts in the work. He rips the hand like a hand destruction deck should. Shouldn't have to explain this card. We're playing Unison, so we play good Unison counterplay cards. Now, the card that is also really good and works with this Dark Broly Unison perfectly, almost like a pseudo Spirit Boost, some would say.
That is the original Spirit Boost.
They had
Holy cow, that is the original Spirit Boost. He's right.
They had to errata this card so he doesn't work with Spirit Boost, but he still works with this card. And pretty much the way this works is you discard this card, you add this ball, which I'll get into in a second, and then minus a Unison, a green Unison, 1 counter, and then this guy, when he loses a counter, your opponent has to discard a card. So for no mana, you're just cycling a card from your deck and making your opponent discard. So it's super value. As I just said, this is the target to add with it, which you'll see. This is pretty standard in most Cell Surge lists. You'll see people running this chain because it works really well and it's like a pretty tight package. I play 3 of the Surprise Attack Frieza, which also works really well with this because this guy KOs a card, so it's almost like this package was I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this package was made for this, but it certainly seems like it. And then we have the evolve target. Whenever we tuck the ball into this guy, we get this guy from the deck. And this guy also rips a card from your opponent's hand by sending himself to the drop area. And then it's really important because when I first started playing this, I thought that your opponent chooses. But no, this card chooses a card from your opponent's hand. So it could be really sacky when you need to be. Now we're getting into the card that makes this deck playable at all. Because without this card, this leader would do nothing. This card is pretty much a 0 mana draw monkey.
Yeah.
You look at the top 5, grab a card, and then this is the card you're always going to want to discard because you can warp it from your drop area, draw a card, and then take a card from your life if you like.
Would you hold on to that open hand, I'm guessing?
Yes, this is like the optimal. Like if you don't against Butters today, I didn't see this card until turn 7. And
what?
Yeah, and it was. I thought I lost. I thought I lost that game. I was almost positive I lost that game actually. But I had 3.
Oh, he was playing King Cold, right?
Yeah, he was playing King Cold. I had 3 cards in hand on turn 3. Like I literally was like, oh, I lose, but somehow I managed to clutch out that game. Just because hand control is good into King Cold, I think. So that's pretty much like the main Cell Surge lineup. This is going to be more yellow cards that we need to awaken. So draw ape, I mean obviously you don't draw that much with this leader, so it's kind of like mandatory in this deck, and you do 1 tap 2, so there's times where it can be free. And then I only play 10 yellow cards in this deck, and the last 4 yellow cards is just the free arrival guy, and then the best green yellow arrival really in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't need to explain. All right.
Or maybe you do.
No,
I'm just trying.
So I've seen people like do a cut between.
Yo, you went to 4?
Yes, I was about to say.
Holy!
I've seen
I was
people
playing around like you're playing Jerome, man.
I agree.
Bro, I played him.
Yeah.
No,
So,
that's good. That's
what
good.
I was saying.
I already got wrecked if you see those things.
I've
man.
seen people do a cut between this and Jerome.
Yeah.
I just feel like this card just won me most of my games.
Yeah.
And whenever I see when I tried Jiro and whenever I would see 2 or 3 of this card, I just always wish I had another one.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I'm playing hand control. This is just makes
Is there
the job
any
easier
point where you thought, damn it, I wish I had at least 1 Jiro? Like a 3-1, or is it just guaranteed?
Not
for
really, honestly, because this guy, this arrival target, he's cool, he's good in certain matchups, but in reality, I end up not playing him most of the time because he's not necessary, because the deck has enough board control without this card. But yeah, so I just really play it for the yellow targets, really, because if you don't see yellow targets, you can't awaken, which happened to me in my top 16 match, and I was kind of bodied after that. So we're gonna show the obvious maiden lineup. We got 3 Rosie, best green card in the game. Any hand control deck, you're gonna play this card, and then 4 Rebrand, because most of the time on turn 2, Rebrand is pretty much the most optimal play.
What's going on here?
Listen, bro, don't worry about the mixed match versions. Right? I don't have this one is literally cheaper than this one. I just didn't have another one.
Big facts.
I'm borrowing this from a friend. Shout out Hassan. It's his. This is pretty much the main.
Is this before COVID and that's after COVID?
Yeah.
Oh,
pretty
much.
So yeah, this is pretty much the main green cards lineup. The last cards of the deck is the black cards, which you can do a different variety of things really. But I opted to play 1 of each because I really felt like these black cards were just all good in their own rights. And I wasn't playing the Toa, and I was playing 2 of this guy, but the fact that he's 0 combo power, it just
hurts, yeah.
I just felt like if I'm gonna play a 3 black cards, I might as well play just 1 of this guy, just so if I see it, I see it. And then the Toa is just an extender that just does super well in a hand control setting. So I think this was fine. And you can't really play too many black cards in this deck because you're gonna need to charge green most of the time, and you don't want to brick on black cards. But yeah, and then the last cards is just the 3 negates. Unfortunately, this leader is green and yellow, so you can't play Dormant.
Yeah.
Can't play Homicidal Clones, can't play any other the good green stuff, but who knows? Maybe we'll run the new green Toba that's coming out, but this is pretty much the negate that we're working with right now.
Gotcha.
So you can pause this right here if you want to look at the deck. But I can go through the side too.
Yeah, let's talk that out real quick.
Alright.
Yo, give it to
Play
the fans.
Vegeta, bro. I can't believe you're playing
Yo,
Cell,
give that
bro.
shit
Who
to the
plays Cell,
give
bro?
that shit to the fans one time.
Shit.
That's the
Did
King
you ever,
Vegeta.
did you ever
shit.
play the Black Goku out of the Toa? Did you ever have them both in hand?
Yeah, against me.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It was savage, man. I was,
Yeah.
I was King Vegeta. I was 2 cards in hand. I'm like, my
Yeah,
God.
all the black cards in this deck is just extenders, like so.
Yeah.
You usually keep them, and
Yeah.
like you really want them.
You keep them open in hand?
Yeah, like if you have the other good cards, like
Makes sense.
you usually want to have other stuff. All right, so these are my chilled tokens. We can put those to the side.
Should have used my tokens.
But these are they're in the side because I do side 2 chilled.
Yeah.
It was mostly for like Bojack,
Slug.
yeah, and Mecha, Slug. Mecha is like the main thing I wanted to side this against. Potentially Invoker, but Invoker just would end up siding out the Vegetas against me
Hit you with
anyways.
the Apex game.
Yeah, so pretty good card. This card I feel like doesn't need an explanation. I felt like I seen this in everyone's sideboard. Like it's just the best like sideboard card. It hits every deck. Like literally every deck, I'm pretty sure, has a card that's hit by this.
Fresh off the ban list.
Yeah, and then also this deck does get bodied by Deborah, the new Deborah, that outs hand destruction.
Yeah, that punishes
So this card also punishes that, which really helps. We side 1 extra negate because we can only play this negate and we play 3 in the main, so we might as well side a 4th for aggro matchups. We play 3 Black Mass Sand, good against like a lot of different decks like King Piccolo and stuff. We side 3 Mechie. I mean,
The
Dark
winners.
Broly. You know how it is.
Say who? See.
Listen, man. This is Dark Broly is it's a hard matchup when you play his deck if you can't awaken quick. So, like this card just helps mitigate that. I also sided in against Invoker. Unfortunately, it didn't help me that much because that matchup is really stacked towards Invoker's favor. But it does put in work. I trolled with this card. I have this in the side, but I completely forgot there's a green version of this card. But to be fair, this is a filler card because blue is already my best matchup.
Yeah.
So it was really just like a overkill type of card.
Yeah, it's snapped. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last 2 cards in the side.
The troll.
You scared of mirror match?
I'm scared of anything hand control because the
Oh,
honest,
your hand is low too.
yeah, the honest truth is like if any hand control deck, like if you play a mirror match, like it kind of comes down to which deck plays draw apes or which deck sides this card because the hand control mirror match is like really crucial. Like you can either get like blown out or you blow the opponent out. There's like no in between. So I was just like, just in case, I know people do rep hand control still, like maybe I see OG Broly or something, I just put these on the side.
Big facts.
Yeah, that's pretty much the sideboard.
Any shout out you want to give before we go?
You already know. Shout out my boys that drove up with me. Eddie, Jason, Ethan.
Oh, he's in your government. He meant Frank Castle.
Frank Lee,
my bad.
Frank Lee.
Yeah, my bad.
Francesco Castellini.
We gotta edit that out, man.
Shout out my roommate Abella, who helps me play test a lot. Shout out everyone at my locals, all the people who've lent me cards. I can't shout out everyone, but everyone at my locals and everyone I play test with, they all contribute to helping me get better. So
Also shout out to G Sports for this mat. This mat looks titty.
yeah, the mat's pretty nice.
Hey, right now.
Huh?
Right now.
Oh, right there.
Right now. Stop, right now. I hate this.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you guys later.